Stromsburg was founded in 1872, and for almost 30 years the modes of transportation were pretty basic. You walked, had a horse, or took the train. That all changed the day that Dr. Charles Flippin received his new automobile on the freight train in 1901. Automobiles gradually put the horses out to pasture, and by 1919 you could choose from several different brands at local automobile dealerships. Here's a few examples. Rice Implement Company offered Ford, Studebaker, and Dodge Brothers. Anstrom Auto Company offered the Maxwell brand, and Alex Scott offered Buicks. The streets of Stromsburg in those early days were either muddy or dusty, dirty messes. By the early teens, most of the original wooden structures had been replaced with brick buildings. Significant investment had been made in these buildings, but no real investment had been made in the streets. Here's an example of one of those wooden structures owned by Scott and Haldane that was replaced by the Scott block. On the south side of the square, this was the Opera House, which now is known as the Viking Center, and the two buildings to the right of that are the Senior Center and the Rescue Shop today. This is the east side of the square. You can see the dirt streets, the boardwalks. There's also a mixture of brick buildings and wooden buildings in this photograph. This is Main Street, or Highway 81, and you can see the grass growing on the edges of the street. Obviously needed some upgrades. This is the south side of the square looking west. This is the Wilson block, but to the right you can see that the wooden building had been torn down in preparation of the Victor Anderson building. Here's another photo that you can see the Victor Anderson building in the north side of the square, and it was definitely showing this as a transition time in Stromsburg. There's automobiles on the left and in the further down the street, and also a horse and buggy crossing the intersection. The citizens and the business owners were tired of the mess, and they realized that paved streets would encourage commerce. Petitions were circulated and presented to the city of Stromsburg, and the wheels were set in motion for the creation of Paving District Number 1. Specs were drawn up, and now the city had to get all their ducks in a row. Grading of the streets had to change. The property owners had to upgrade their water service lines. Curb and gutter had to be poured, and a storm sewer system had to be installed. The city opened the bids for the project on June 30th, 1919, and the Hugh Murphy Construction Company of Omaha, Nebraska got the bid. I'll tell you that the Hugh Murphy Company had in the contract that the project would be done by November 1st, 1919. For a variety of reasons, they missed that date by a long shot. I'll explain more about that soon. Here's a few photos of that paving project as it began. I hope you've enjoyed this slideshow. I hope to do another one soon as part 3 of this project. And so